guys, this video is in continuation with the unboxing video for the JBL Nano K5 studio reference monitors and the Steinberg UR22c audio interface, and also the Mackie CR8S-XBT studio reference subwoofer. So this setup is for, as you can see, for my typical low budget home studio setup. I just enjoy making casual music at my free time. I'm learning. And I think this setup perfectly makes sense, and I'll explain while I give you my own review of these products. So to begin with, the JBL Nano K5s. They are K5s because they're supposed to have 5.5 inches of low frequency driver. Unfortunately, they don't. As you can see in this clip, these woofers, the diameter of these low frequency drivers are actually only 4.5 inches. Of course, the rest of it, the remaining 1 inches, I'm sure they are the metal basket on which these woofers are actually constructed. And so those baskets go inside the baffle. That is for the fitment of these woofers themselves in the baffle. I was initially skeptical that will I be fooled? Have I been conned by saying it's a 5.5 inch, because that 1 inch makes some level of difference when it comes to responding to the low end frequencies. The spec sheet claimed that these reference monitors go down to 42 Hertz. So I wanted to test it. And to my surprise, it does actually. Don't be fooled by the size at all. No. These are typical JBLs. They are high impact sounds. The bass is smooth. Kick drums and all the percussions are punchy, clear. Highs are crisp. Mids detailed. Overall, the sound output at the first impression when I played this was just mind-blowing, especially if you're used to listening to all your consumer grade audio systems, which sound great by themselves, but they're still consumer grade. The sound are very colored and things. So the moment you play this, you should be expecting to hear a slightly different sound, and you'll be wondering that, I paid so much of money and this is a pro grade, it's supposed to sound better. No, actually better means that you get a flatter response. That means you get to hear each and every nuance in that spectrum of sound. From the lowest frequency to the highest frequency, you should be able to hear them, which is not possible on your consumer grade monitors. But the benefit of having such good reference monitors at this price range and at this dimensions is that you can just use it with your personal computers for your gaming and entertainment purposes also. So overall, you'll be evolving into using these reference quality monitors for your general day-to-day entertainment as well. Actually, it's going to be a feast for your ears, where you're getting the flattest, cleanest, nicest sound the way the producers or the makers of the content intended that to sound like. So definitely thumbs up for anybody who is thinking about buying these and using it for both personal entertainment as well as some level of professional applications at home. Definitely go for it. Coming to the cons of this, well, not many. I just have questions to JBL as to why do you have the volume dials at the bottom and at the center? I mean, okay, it's convenient, it's reachable, and it's nice. But why did you make it so very lightweight and easy to move? It's like a flywheel. It feels like just a blow of a wind can actually change these dials. It's that light. I was expecting to have more of a tactile feel when you're increasing or decreasing the volume, so that at tick level you can balance the output of both the monitors very well when you have to do that. But as I went on, I realized that that's not that big of a problem, because once you set it, you're calibrated, you're configured your setup, then just forget about that. You're not going to be touching it more frequently. Although, while I was moving my cables or headphones or something, I would accidentally, it would have touched the levels and it has slightly gone higher or lower compared to the other monitor. It would definitely make my mix out of balance, because I'll be mixing it in such a way, panning it unnecessarily when the panning was not needed. Apart from that, there's not much to complain about. Of course, the bass reflex ports that are there in the front panel are extremely good. Very well thought by JBL, because these are intended to be used in smaller rooms like this one. That means we will not have the luxury of having enough space behind the reference monitors like they do in the professional recording studios. I will not go in depth of it as to why that is needed. Since we know that having the reference monitors right against the wall is a problem, and it becomes Even more problematic if the bass ports are there at the rear, because the bass tends to amplify. Not getting too much into the theory. The bass ports in the front are helpful in this kind of a scenario. Now, the bass response is more flatter and more true to ears. Moving on to the next best part about these K5 reference monitors are the VU meters. So these VU meters will help you when you're calibrating your sound for the room in which these reference monitors are placed. Just make sure that you don't cross the zero line. Yeah, so that these are the good things about the JBL Nano K5s. Moving on to the Studio UR22c audio interface, it was a breeze setting it up. It draws the power from the USB-C from this laptop, and takes about 8 to 10 seconds to for the driver to load and start communicating with the laptop. And while it is getting ready, you can see the white light blinking on the interface. And once it is ready to go, the light just stays on. The condenser microphone that came along with it, I had to buy a separate mic arm that you can see over here, on which I have mounted this, and the XLR cable runs all the way to the interface. And the gain is currently set up to 75%. And I'm not using a pop filter because this has a built-in layer of pop filter. So probably it also has a roll-off response towards the low frequencies. I'm yet to test that, but you know, the mono switch is another big plus, and you can also balance between what you want to monitor, the direct signal which is coming from the mic as it is going into the DAW. That means zero latency, very big plus if you're a singer. Or you can also keep a balance of getting some effect back from the DAW and also hear the real time from the mic, so that you get some feel out of your own voice as you sing. That also works. That's awesome. Everything else is just great about the UR22c. Of course, for the first time, in order for that to run, I had to go to Yamaha Steinberg website, download the driver for this product, and install them. That process was hardly 5 minutes. And once the drivers are installed, you run your DAW, and you can see UR22c as your sound device, audio device. Both inputs are configurable, and you can get going with that immediately. That's not at all a big deal. Then, moving on to the Mackie subwoofer. So this beauty is such a well thought product. The button that you see right in the front, and nothing else is there on the front apart from that, is the button which is for Bluetooth connectivity, unlike the button on the front panel of the JBLs, which is for power. The Mackie has its power switch at the rear. The front one is only for the Bluetooth connectivity. So just push that button, and any device which is looking for this particular Bluetooth Mackie device pairs instantaneously. And that's it. And the connection stays paired. Every time the subwoofer is on, you bring the other paired device close to it, it remains paired. And you can play music from that. While you're playing music from that, the other main input at the rear of the subwoofer does not go mute. So be careful about it. You might be sending heavy loads of signal if you are sending signals from both Bluetooth and the inputs at the rear. By the way, there are two separate set of inputs at the rear. One is balanced and the other one is unbalanced. Of course, you can play audio from any of these inputs simultaneously, and everything will play together. So you'll need to be mindful about that. So the connections are simple. Let me just quickly run you through how the connections are. So your 22C audio interface has been configured in your DAW for the main as the main input and the output source. So your master out, that is the two track out from the UR22C, will be going out to the input of subwoofer, and the output of your Mackie subwoofer will be coming into each of the studio reference monitors, that is JBL Nano K5s. Once that is done, play the best quality audio you have, the best sounding audio you have, that you want your mixers to sound like. Set the levels, set the bass, set the frequency of the crossover according to that. Because these JBLs go up to 45, then you might, as if you are in a perfectly acoustically treated environment with a proper positioning or placement of your subwoofer, then you might have to set the crossover to 45. Because those are the frequencies below the 45 hertz is what Mackie will then respond to at your reference levels. So you get a flatter line towards the lower end. But in situations like this, like the room that I have, these JBL, I'm not able to hear the low frequencies below 80 hertz as properly as somebody would with the speakers in a properly acoustically treated room. So I had to set the crossover of my subwoofer to somewhere close to 100. So the roll off above 100 of the subwoofer coincides with frequencies that I'm losing because of poor acoustics in my room from the main monitors. So once you have set your crossover, once you have adjusted your levels, you then play your favorite track, the best quality audio track you have, which make sure it is not a compressed audio file. So best thing is to play an audio CD or a super audio CD if you have any, or uncompressed audio files in any digital format. And this little beauty, which is the volume controller, which I received as part of the Mackie subwoofer, is just so amazing. The lower dial is for controlling the overall output of your bass, that is the output coming from the subwoofer, and the top dial is for controlling the output of these monitors. And the signal is so clean. I'm gonna bump up the volume to 100% now for these reference monitors, and you cannot hear any hiss or any hum. That's just wonderful. And the same with the subwoofer. I'm gonna increase the lower dial to 100%. No rumble, no hum, nothing from the subwoofer as well. That's on and that's running. Let me bring them back to 0. I'm going to keep this aside. Okay. So the levels are set. Connection is done. Time for the sound demo. What I have here for you guys is just a simple arrangement of 3 instruments: piano, bass guitar, and drums. All are synthesized. All are created within the FL Studio 20 DAW. I'll be playing them now, playing them at the reference level that I have calibrated these monitors to play at. But mind you, I have reduced the subwoofer output to 0. So initially what you'll be hearing is only the JBL Nano K5. So you get an idea as to how the frequency responses are. And then I will slowly increase the bass, that is a subwoofer output, and you can start feeling the difference in the audio. Okay, ready? Go. So that's the audio that's playing at the reference level for this particular room. And now I'll play the same loop, and this time I'm going to bring the subwoofer volume up. So hope you guys could make that difference of what adding a subwoofer to the setup meant. So definitely there was that perfect low end spectrum which was hollow otherwise, which was missing. And of course, the proper setup of the crossover frequencies and the levels to balance with the main reference monitors. Is this good for mixing? For people like me, yes, definitely. It's such a major jump compared to mixing on non-pro reference monitors. Your mixes are not going to sound really that good. And with these reference monitors, I was so easily able to catch faults with all my previous mixes that I had done on non-professional reference monitors. Okay, so that's about the sound demo. I'll be making some songs. I'll be working on some new songs and mixing on this setup and mastering as well. and I'll be posting them on this channel. So please do remember to check out those videos and let me know your thoughts. If you think anything is off or everything is good, I would like to hear from you guys. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys like this. Let me know if you have any questions. I will do my best to get the answers for you on time, and hope to see you soon. Have a good one.